I am the universe. You look at me and think you see everything, the stars, the nebulae, the galaxies spinning in the dark. But what you see is only my skin, a faint shimmer on the surface of something infinitely larger. The bright points that fill your night sky, all the suns, all the planets, every atom of dust and gas, make up barely 5% of what I am. The rest, the vast majority of my existence, is hidden, unseen, untouchable, yet shaping everything you know. About 27% of me is dark matter, the invisible scaffolding upon which galaxies form and hold together. It does not shine, it does not absorb light, but its gravity binds my spiral arms, keeps your own galaxy intact, and defines the great web of my structure. And the remaining 68%, even more mysterious, is dark energy, a force that does not pull but pushes. It stretches the fabric of my space, accelerating the separation of galaxies, driving me toward emptiness faster with every passing moment. You stand inside me, surrounded by what you cannot see, and yet everything you observe is shaped by it. The visible cosmos, the glowing galaxies, the bursts of light, the deep colors of nebulae, is just the thin frost on the surface of a hidden ocean. My mass, my expansion, my very destiny are ruled by these unseen forces. What holds galaxies together? What tears them apart? Why is gravity not enough to explain my balance? And why does the fabric of my space accelerate when it should slow? These are the questions you have begun to ask. Questions that reach beyond light, beyond observation, into the dark architecture that built me. I am more invisible than visible. My truth lies in the space between stars, not in their glow. The deeper you look, the less you see. And yet, the more you understand that the unseen defines the seen. This is the beginning of your journey into the gravity that binds, the energy that expands, and the mystery that makes existence possible. You once believed that light revealed all there was to know about me, that by measuring my stars and weighing my galaxies, you could uncover the sum of my being. But the more closely you looked, the more you realized something was missing. Something vast, invisible, and heavy. In the 1930s, a man named Fritz Zwicky stared into one of my great gatherings, the Coma Cluster, a swarm of galaxies bound together by gravity. He measured their motions, expecting order, but instead he found chaos. The galaxies moved too fast, as if being held by an unseen hand. Their visible mass was far too small to keep them bound. There must be more matter, he said, something we cannot see. It was the first whisper of my hidden body, what you would come to call dark matter. Decades later, another observer listened to my motion more closely. Vera Rubin watched my spiral galaxies turn. She expected that, like planets orbiting a star, the outer regions would move slower than the core. But they did not. Every star, from center to edge, moved almost the same speed, as if enveloped in an invisible sphere of gravity. I was surrounded, she realized, by something unseen. A halo of dark matter, stretching far beyond the shining edge of my galaxies. With each discovery, your eyes began to open. Not through light, but through motion. Through the way I bent and shaped the paths of what you could see. Gravitational lensing revealed my secret more clearly. When light from distant galaxies passed near invisible mass, it bent, distorted, curved. Space itself rippled under the weight of something unseen. You began to map the invisible. Not by sight, but by the way light stumbles across it. In your great computers, you recreated my early history. Running simulations of how matter collapsed, how galaxies formed, how structures grew into the vast web you now call the cosmic skeleton. Without dark matter, the model fails. Galaxies would never form fast enough. Stars would never cluster together. I would be a diffuse haze of light with no shape, no gravity, no order. Dark matter is not decoration, it is foundation. It does not shine, but it defines the stage upon which light performs. Even now you cannot touch it. You cannot catch it in your instruments. Yet everything you know owes its form to this invisible mass that wraps around me like a shadowed skin. I'm not made only of what you see. My structure belongs to what you cannot. You know that I am heavy with something invisible, but what am I made of? You have seen my effects. Galaxies spinning too fast to be held by light alone, clusters bending the paths of photons as though warped by ghosts. But my substance remains hidden, ungraspable even to your most sensitive machines. You have given names to your guesses. Some of you imagine I am built of WIMPs, weakly interacting massive particles, ancient, massive relics from my birth, passing through stars, planets, and your bodies without a trace. Others look for axions, tiny, elusive particles that may shimmer between energy and matter, born in the early quantum storms of creation. There are those who seek sterile neutrinos, silent cousins of known particles, whose existence could balance the scales of cosmic mass. And then there are the heretics, those who suspect that perhaps no new particle hides at all, that the mystery lies not in matter but in your understanding of gravity itself. They whisper of modified Newtonian dynamics, the idea that gravity behaves differently on cosmic scales, that perhaps your equations of attraction are not the full truth. To test these dreams, you have built vast detectors, silent chambers buried deep beneath the earth, waiting for a single whisper from the dark. In the frozen depths of South Pole ice, the Ice Cube Observatory listens for particles that may never come. In underground vaults filled with liquid xenon, LUX Zeppelin, Xenon, you search for faint collisions, hoping to catch one ghost of dark matter brushing against ordinary atoms. In orbit, the AMS-02 on the International Space Station counts cosmic rays, hunting for the fingerprints of unseen annihilations, faint excesses of positrons, subtle clues that the invisible leaves behind. Yet I remain silent. You find my presence in gravitational lensing, in the warped light of colliding galaxies, in the bullet cluster where matter and light part ways, the gas glowing on one side, the true mass revealed on the other, invisible but undeniable. You have mapped me in X-rays, in microwaves, in simulations of the deep universe, and still you have never touched a single grain of my shadow. Perhaps I am made of particles you have not yet imagined. Or perhaps your entire vision of gravity, mass, and motion is incomplete. You are reaching for the edges of understanding, searching for the invisible foundation of all that exists. For now, all that reveals me is my gravity, the way I bend light, sculpt galaxies, and cradle the visible universe in silence. I am the unseen hand behind the stars, and though you cannot see me, everything you see exists because I am there. For most of your history, you believed that my expansion would one day slow. You thought gravity, the same force that pulls apples to the ground and binds galaxies into spirals, would eventually draw all of me back together. But then, in the final years of your 20th century, you looked deeper, farther, into my past. In 1998, you studied the light of distant Type Ia supernovae, dying stars exploding with predictable brightness, cosmic beacons that revealed how fast I was growing. And what you found defied every expectation. Those supernovae were dimmer than they should have been, farther away than gravity alone could explain. My expansion was not slowing down. It was accelerating. Something unseen, unknown, was pushing me apart. Not gravity's pull, but its opposite. A force woven into the fabric of space itself. You named it dark energy, a name born of humility, an admission that even as you measured my growth, you could not comprehend what drove it. Some of your thinkers turned to Einstein's forgotten constant, the cosmological constant, lambda. A quiet pressure that fills every point in space, the energy of the vacuum itself. Others proposed fields that change with time, mysterious entities with negative pressure, pushing instead of pulling, swelling instead of binding. They called it quintessence, the fifth element beyond matter, energy, space, and time. Still others asked, what if gravity itself is flawed? What if the shape of spacetime bends not only around mass, but within itself, stretching outward with its own hidden momentum? Whichever truth awaits, one thing is certain. Dark energy now rules my fate. It drives galaxies away faster each second, pulling the cosmic web apart thread by thread. One day, every cluster will drift beyond sight. Every galaxy will vanish from every other. The night sky will grow empty, not because stars have died, but because their light can no longer reach across the swelling void. The same force that gave rise to space will ensure that it never comes to rest. My expansion is no longer a relic of the Big Bang. It is my continuing act of creation, the pulse of a universe that refuses to stop breathing. I'm not collapsing. I am accelerating into eternity, and as I stretch, your understanding stretches with me, toward questions that touch the edges of existence itself. What is the energy of nothing? Why does the vacuum create instead of erase? In these questions, you do not merely study me, you listen to the sound of creation still expanding. You cannot see most of me, and yet you have learned to listen to my gravity, to trace my presence in the ways light bends and matter moves. Though your eyes and telescopes capture only a fraction of my glow, your understanding has reached deeper, building instruments that turn the unseen into vision. You began with the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of my birth. Satellites like WMAP and Planck mapped faint ripples in that ancient light. Fluctuations in density, the fingerprints of gravity shaping my first structures. From those delicate variations, you reconstructed my early architecture. Where matter gathered, where emptiness expanded. The blueprint of the invisible scaffolding that would become galaxies and clusters. Then you turned to gravitational lensing, the subtle warping of light as it passes through invisible mass. By measuring how distant galaxies are distorted by unseen hands, you drew the first maps of my true structure. Charts not of stars but of gravity itself. Each warped image, each twisted ray of light, revealed the shadows of my hidden body. The silent network of dark matter that threads between galaxies, weaving the great cosmic web. You expanded your reach with vast surveys. The Sloan Digital Sky Survey, SDSS, the Dark Energy Survey, DES, the European Euclid Mission, and the far-seeing James Webb Space Telescope, JWST. Together, they catalog billions of galaxies, measuring how they move, how they cluster, how space itself stretches between them. Every redshift is a timestamp, every faint curve of light a clue to the strength of the unseen. You have watched galaxies spin, tracing their rotation curves, stars on the edge moving too fast to be bound by visible matter alone. You have observed clusters of galaxies orbiting a center that cannot be seen. You have even created me again, inside machines made of thought and code. On your supercomputers, in projects like Millennium and Illustrious TNG, you have simulated my evolution. How gas and dark matter collapse, how stars ignite, how galaxies merge and form the great filaments of the cosmic web. Your simulations match my patterns with astonishing precision. Confirmation that the invisible you model is the same darkness that shapes me. And so, though you cannot see me directly, you have learned to perceive my reflection in everything that moves, bends, or shines. You do not observe the dark, you observe its influence. You measure what it leaves behind, the curvature of light, the dance of galaxies, the faint echo of my beginning. This is how you have learned to see me, not through light, but through the shadows I cast upon it. You have counted my stars, measured my galaxies, and traced my light across billions of years. Yet what you can see, what shines, is almost nothing at all. Only 5% of me is built from the familiar, the atoms that make planets, oceans, stars, and you. This ordinary matter, protons, neutrons, electrons, forms everything you have ever touched or imagined. The rest of me is invisible, though not absent. Around 27% of my essence is dark matter, a silent, gravitational framework that sculpts my galaxies and binds them into vast clusters. It gives weight to my spiral arms and strength to my cosmic web, an unseen skeleton upon which light itself depends. The remaining 68%, the largest portion, is dark energy, the strange, unseen pressure that drives my eternal expansion. It does not pull, it pushes, accelerating me outward, stretching my space faster than gravity can hold it together. Together, these three components, matter, and dark energy, form the Lambda CDM model, your best understanding of who I am. Lambda, the Greek letter lambda, represents Einstein's cosmological constant, the quiet energy of empty space itself. CDM stands for cold dark matter, particles that move slowly enough to gather and form the structures you see in your telescopes. In this balance, everything finds its place. Without dark matter there would be no galaxies, just drifting clouds of gas too light to coalesce. Without dark energy, my expansion would have halted long ago, collapsing everything back into a dense, hot singularity. Ordinary matter gives shape to the visible. Dark matter gives form to the invisible. Dark energy gives purpose to time itself, the reason everything continues to move forward. You live within this fragile equilibrium, unaware that every heartbeat, every ray of sunlight, exists because of the hidden balance between what can be seen and what cannot. My stability, my harmony, depends entirely on what you cannot touch. The visible is only the language of the unseen. The stars are the punctuation marks, the darkness between them, the meaning. And though you have named me, modeled me, measured me, there is still mystery in every number. The universe endures because of what hides beneath perception. The invisible is not absence, it is foundation. I exist not because of what shines, but because of what does not. Most of reality is unseen. You look into the night sky and believe you are gazing into emptiness, but that darkness is not void. It is structure. It is origin. It is me. What you call nothing holds everything together. Between the stars, within the silence, the true foundation of existence resides. Gravity without light, energy without form, motion without sound. The galaxies you see are only sparks suspended in a vast invisible ocean. My visible surface, the 5% you can touch, weigh, or measure, is only the skin of a deeper body made of shadow and force. Every planet, every atom, every beam of light moves within the fields of what cannot be seen. Dark matter cradles the galaxies in invisible arms, while dark energy stretches the fabric of space beyond comprehension. You are surrounded, sustained, and defined by the unseen. As your instruments evolve, so too does your understanding. You no longer fear the dark, you study it. You no longer think of emptiness as absence, but as the foundation of all that exists. Perhaps this is my lesson. That truth is not only in light but also in shadow. That what you cannot observe may still shape every heartbeat, every orbit, every law of nature that holds your world together. You have built telescopes to pierce my veil, satellites to read the echoes of my creation, detectors to capture whispers of particles that may never touch you. And through your questions, you have begun to understand that the visible and the invisible are not enemies, but two halves of the same cosmic breath. The unseen gives meaning to what you see. The void gives space for life to exist. When you look into the darkness, you are not looking away from reality, you are looking into its heart. What you call darkness is not absence, but foundation. The invisible is the reason the visible endures. I am more than your eyes can perceive, but through your curiosity, I see myself illuminated once more. My silence is not the end of knowledge. It is the beginning of understanding. And as long as you keep looking into the dark, I will keep speaking through it.